our new steering wheel is pretty awesome. Very happy with the feel. You can see our video on the install of that, but now we're going to make it fit a little bit better. So with the stock seat in its factory position, I'm 6'2", seat all the way back and all the way extended. The steering column, it goes to there, but I would like it to be ideal driving position up here. With the race seat in, it's even worse because I'm sitting a bit further back again. To fix that, spacershop.com, I ordered a steering wheel spacer. So this is a pretty solid bit of gear with a new spline on it and bolt, and that goes back here and spaces out this gap here. So it's pretty thick. It's about 15 centimeters or so. I'll measure it exactly, but you can see how much that's going to space out, and that way we can slide it in and get a lot more range. Of course, it's not going to change the fact that this car does not have tilt, only the extension, but it'll make it a lot more comfortable driving, and particularly on the track. So taking this airbag out, nice and easy, same as what we did before. I would just have a watch of the other video. It's a bit more detailed than what we're going to do here. I'm just going to speed through it here, but you want to disconnect the battery before you do anything and give it a few minutes to drain, because you don't want any charge left in it to fire the airbag off into your face. Okay, steering wheel is out. Set that aside. Now, straighten up the wheel. We've got a few little wires here. This does come with a little extension wire for the horn. This wire is plenty long enough, but we'll now take off the big 24mm nut here. So I relocked the steering column. It made it a lot easier to undo this. Now, like we did in the other video, put it on, back on 1 or 2 turns. That way it's easier to pull off and not smack yourself in the face, hopefully. There we go, that's loose. Just disconnect the little wires there that are for the horn. Remember where they go. Easy enough. Okay. Undo the nut, set it aside, and then carefully pull the, oh, there's a washer that goes on there too. There's a dead fly. I don't know how that got in there. Anyway, okay, pull that right through and feed the wires through. There we go. Now it's time for the spacer. So that will have a spot that locks in. You can see there is a tab that sits out, and vice versa on the back. So we'll get the tape off, a little extension wire, and we'll put it in. When you get your spacer, it'll be like this, and it's kind of assembled backwards a little bit, but what you need to do is just go get, that's just a 5mm, you can use a 5mm Allen key, whatever, I just have one on the socket, and put it in and take this silver piece out, because that's the spline. It actually gets flipped around, but you just gotta take it out, put these bolts aside, So with them undone, there you go, and that's your new spline. So that's what we're looking at here. It said this is a manual, not a Tiptronic. You have your spacer here. Now you see the orientation, see that big hole? Now that's going to go on the side to line up with the wires coming through. So we attach a little extension wire onto there, and we'll just tuck them all through that big hole on the side. One more, get through. There you are. And now we want to get this lined up. So we want to line it up with the splines. We want it right straight up and down if the steering wheel should have been straight beforehand. So that will go through there like that. Now the kit comes with another washer and a nut like we had before. So washer on. Oh no, we need the stock one. It's much bigger. And it's a wave washer, so it kind of locks in. So stock washer. And then we'll just put the stock nut on here. Now we need that to lock onto the spline. So to do that, we tighten it back up. So we tighten it back up. I've taken relocked the steering column, and now we got to snug it up and then tighten it, torque it down to 45 Newton meters. There we go. Let's sit down there now. Okay, torque down to 45 Newton meters. Now we install this. Now there's no up and down on it, but that goes, and the original bolts that came with it stick out or go into there. Now I'm sure a little drop of Loctite on there wouldn't go straight, but we're just gonna start them off by hand and then we'll tighten them up. So the torque specs that they give for these is just 8 Newton meters, which is not very much. So because it is just, you know, into alloys, but you do want to just go over. I went over it a couple times, just getting them all snug and even. So we have the wire extender is on here, and now we're going to put the steering wheel back on. So make sure it's straight. Again, you know, you kind of want to line that up, get that all vertical there, and grab the wheel. And you want to carefully just hold it on there for a second. And then we want to get those wires through. So there's our airbag wire and our 2 horn wires. There we go. Okay, so wires are through. And we just want to line that up and push it in. Okay, with that seated now on the spline, straight as we can go. Okay, we'll get our new washer in. And our new nut. Do a quick digging around. It's a 22, and we'll get this straight and tighten it down. Again, torque it down appropriately with the torque wrench. Now, one thing I'll tell you right now is that this has made the indicators, you know, I've got big hands, but the indicators are obviously farther away. There is the spacer from the side. So when you're grabbing the wheel, you have to do the little reach with the fingertips, and same with the wipers, but I think you'll get used to that pretty quick. But all in all, that is way closer. So let's finish this off and have a look and see what it's like. Okay, that is the spacer installed. You can see it there, so that adds quite a bit of depth. Okay, if I go pull back, and I haven't adjusted the steering column at all, and I put my arm on it, that's where it comes to now. So we can definitely move it in a bit. So all the way in is about where it was before. So we can pull it out a bit more and just get that perfect seating driving position. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a much more comfortable position to be driving. Now, I said you got a bit of a reach for the indicators, but you know, my hand's still on the wheel, still comfortably touch it there, and same on the wiper side there. Okay, my thoughts on that: fantastic mod. You could do it with the stock wheel. You don't have to use the aftermarket wheel like I did, but that's just a nice upgrade on it. Really kind of modernizes the car, having the different wheel, and this spacer just makes it a lot more comfortable. So if you're taller and you just struggle, that you always find you're kind of reaching too far forward to get to the wheel, this is going to bring it nice and close, way more upright, and right in front of you, especially if you have the race seat. So these guys, Spacer Shop, you see it there, spacershop.com. So it cost me a couple $100. I would recommend this. This is definitely one that you can do. Doesn't change the purity of your car. You run it with the stock wheel, and so it costs a few $100, but wow, what a difference it makes in just overall driving position. If you are short, don't have a problem, easy. If you are tall, you want to get this.